Tonight, what I wanted to talk about or have a discussion with everybody about was some of the common paranormal myths that exist in the paranormal world. There are a number of common myths that people believe, one being ghosts are bound to a specific location. Uh, Another myth is that ghosts are always benevolent. And another myth that I found was ghosts are always transparent. So these are three ghost myths that are not true at all. Jarrell, when you've had ghost experiences, what have they been tied to a particular place?
One instance when I was growing up, the one in Marshall seemed to be attached to my grandmother's house. The closet in the what would become the living room and then became a bedroom. There was a presence that could be felt in the closet that I believed as a kid possibly was connected to the house.
Uh-huh.
Do I believe it was malevolent? No. I believe it
Okay.
just wanted. I believe it just wanted us to know that she was there.
Jamie, in your experience, have you ever seen a ghost? Am I scaring Jamie off?
No, I just had to click the unmute button.
Okay.
In my experience, I've had both. I think some were connected to a place and some were connected to the person and kind of came and went.
Yeah. Well, it's a common misconception that a lot of people getting into the paranormal uh, get into is that they think ghosts are always transparent or they're always benevolent, and that's not true. Sometimes they're benevolent and they're helpful to us. That ghosts are bound to specific locations. I think we've decided that that is not the case at all, that they do roam. And I know for sure that Steve Ewan, that was Shaban's husband that had passed, he went on many ghost investigations with us and he identified himself to us and he confirmed that he was going with us. I also know that with the dowsing rods, whenever I need to have them work or I want to test them and teach somebody new dowsing rods techniques, I call on my wife, who is deceased, and she has always been present, and it doesn't matter where we're located. So those are three of the common myths. Has anybody heard another myth that they would like to discuss about ghosts? Hearing nothing, let's go to vampires. Vampires can only be killed by sunlight is a myth. Vampires can only be killed by a stake through the heart. That is also a myth. So it is well known that while sunlight is often considered a weakness for vampires, there are variations in folklore where they can withstand sunlight and it doesn't bother them at all. They are able to walk about in the sunlight. Vampires can only be killed by a stake through the heart. While this is a common method of exterminating a vampire, there are other ways to destroy vampires in different mythologies. So I don't know what some of those other ways are. I think one is a silver bullet, and there are some others perhaps. Uh, Anybody else heard any different myths about vampires? I think it's commonly believed that vampires cannot enter your residence without permission, that they have to have permission. So uh, I believe that that is probably true. At least, I don't know. I didn't come up on the research I was looking for. In looking in the myths, it wasn't one that was discussed, but I thought I would throw it out there. Werewolves is the next series of myths that we can dive into a little bit. Werewolves always transform on a full moon, or werewolves are always violent and monstrous. Any ideas as to whether those are true or false? Not hearing anybody jump out. So what I'll tell you is that while the full moon is a common trigger, there are variations where werewolves can transform at other times. And we've known that through some of the mythology that we've heard and seen and read for over the centuries. Some werewolf legends depict them as more animalistic, while others portray them as intelligent and capable of human emotions. Jarrell has put into the chat that he never met a vampire, and silver bullets are for werewolves, not for the vampires. Yeah, I guess that's right. So the stake through the heart was the big thing with the vampires. Witches. Some myths about witches that we probably should all know. Witches always wear black. Witches always ride broomsticks. Are those true or false? Anybody want to throw out an answer? Okay. While black is often associated with witches, they can wear any color. And if y'all remember the podcast we did with Magrid Birdsong, the witch that we had on for an interview, she didn't wear any black at all. And she also talked about her broomstick, and she didn't ride a broomstick. The only thing she used a broom for was cleaning her house. Though she had brooms, but they were used for cleaning the house. While broomsticks are a common symbol, they are a method of transportation used in witch lore. Other myths that we might come across or have to deal with in our ventures into the paranormal. Witches on brooms are false. Never met a vampire. Okay, that's Jarrell. Witches on brooms are false. Other myths are aliens are always hostile. Bigfoot is a giant ape, and the Supernatural series uses the sigil of Baphomet to trap spirits. The show often incorporates various symbols and signals inspired by real-world occult traditions, but the specific symbols used vary depending on the nature of the spirit and the episode storyline. Well, we all know that from the reports from the different UFO people. In fact, we're going to have one early in October, maybe it's early September. We've got a ufologist coming on that's going to be our guest on podcast here in the near future, Nancy Thames. But anyway, aliens are always hostile is not true. Many alien abduction stories involve benevolent or neutral encounters. And there are many alien stories where they are of benefit to mankind and not hostile at all. Bigfoot is a giant ape. Well, while this is a common depiction, there are other theories about Bigfoot's nature and origins. So it's in general, when they've done research and have found some of the hairs and stuff, they have not really tested to be a giant ape of any kind. The Supernatural series, they have where they put the symbol underneath the rug, and they trick all these demons and stuff into getting trapped. Well, I looked that up, and actually I found out that there is no proof of that in any way, shape, or fashion. I'm going to share with you my screen. Share screen, this one. Share. Okay. The symbol that you see here with the in red, that is the symbol of Baphomet, which the they use on supernatural to trap the demons and stuff. But actually, it is a symbol that's associated to the demon entity Baphomet, and that is all. It's not associated with actually being a trap of any kind. The next sign that you see over here is the sigil of Leviathan, which is a complex symbol used to contain and control the powerful Leviathan creatures. Now, I was looking in the Bible to find information on the Leviathan today, and it took me to Job 41, and it apparently is some kind of a deep sea creature. They were talking about trying to catch it on a hook or in a fish net. So that's the symbols that are associated with that particular entity. The next one on the right, with the line running through it and two kind of check marks there, I don't know exactly what you'd call it, is the sigil of Azel. It's a symbol of used to summon and control the demon Azel. So those are some symbols that were used in, I don't know, mythology. I don't know. Maybe these two are actual demons symbols, or maybe all three of them actually work with demons and are used to summon demons. The last symbol that I have here happens to be the sign of the seven, is what it is called. And as you look around the symbol, you can see Gabriel, Zapharel, Michael, Samuel, Raphael. Anyway, that's the seven archangels on it. So that is an item that is used to, for the summon and get the protection of the archangels. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing there. I had hoped we'd have a little more discussion, but since we don't, anybody have any questions on these particular myths or have any myths they want to discuss? I think I picked a bad subject. I thought we would benefit.
John, yeah, sorry, it took me a second to get my microphone unmuted.
Okay.
Despite that Supernatural tended to get it wrong in some aspects, but looking at the show and like I've always said, you have these guys come into your living room every week for 15 years, and you feel like you get to kind of know the characters, not the real individuals, but the characters. And, no Hollywood show is going to get it 100% accurate. I still find the show Supernatural and X-Files and all the other shows that are similar and, and everything. I find them very still enlightening and very, very entertaining.
Oh, they're entertaining, of course.
And I love them. And, I always say that Supernatural tends to gravitate to be my one and only go-to show. Yeah, they do a lot of urban lore and urban myths. However, they do have it right in one aspect. Whoever did the research, they're pretty close. But remember, if they had it exactly right and really put real spell incantations in their show, what would the people that are watching it do? Try to imitate the show? Next thing you know, we're going to be really busy, dude, because we're going to have demons and all kinds of crap running down the street. And that's just a shout out because I love the show. But,
we're watching it too. So,
we are. And like I told you every time.
Watching it,
Yeah, Rachel and I watch it religiously every year. The show went off, I believe, in either 2020 or 2019. And I really hated to see the show go. It ended on a note that the very, very last episode was not my entire favorite, but I get it. I get that there has to be a sense of closure. And, but, I still was unhappy with it. I don't think anybody else that hasn't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, because the guys that did it, the people that did the show, like Jensen and Jared and all the cast and crew, they really did a great job. Just like when the X-Files ended, they did a really great job. And I really hated to see the show end, because I was getting a season from my wife and my kids every year for Christmas. So when the first season would come out, I'd get it for Christmas. So forth with the second, all the way to season 15. So yeah, and I watch it every year. I know we're watching it now, but I will start again in October and watch it all the way through to possibly December. And it's just something that I watch religiously every year, as if the show never left. And so, but anyway, John, I mean, I wouldn't find anything negative to find about the show if I tried, because they did a really good job. And for 15 years, I literally felt as though I wasn't in a wheelchair. I'd sit there in front of my big screen TV and watch Supernatural, and I would feel that they really make you feel that you're along for the ride, because the way they shoot from the Impala and out and in, you feel like you're kind of in there. And for an hour, every week, I didn't feel like I was in a wheelchair, man. I felt like I'm on the hunt with these guys, so kudos to that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say.
Okay. Well, our next topic will be either, I haven't really decided, but probably going to be historic hauntings. I'm trying to come up with a list of different locations around. I'm planning a trip during the week, this week, to go and check out some locations in the downtown area. Donna has lost her list. Well, it was on the laptop that perished, and the records that she had for the downtown tour she did, I guess 15 years ago, cannot be retrieved from the hard drive. So we're going to have to come up with a list again, which is not real hard. We could come up with about 10 or so anyway. Some of those were very responsive. However, some, like the Spaghetti Warehouse, has closed. I don't know if they've reopened, but while we're on our investigation this week downtown, we will find out. And so that will be our next episode, will be historic hauntings and how to, haunted locations around the Houston area. If you have any suggestions, why don't you email me, and we'll get those included for the next meeting. And if you have any history or background on those spots, it'll keep me from having to do all the research on 15 or 20 slots. It would be very helpful if y'all would do that. With nothing else to keep us here and nothing else to really talk about, I did want to point out that I don't know whether we should have another drawing or not for a shirt. We broke even on the shirt contest. Rachel Riggins won it last week in the drawing. Only two people entered, Jarrell and Rachel. So, we've got a shirt that we're ordering for Rachel. We're going to be ordering one for Jarrell this week too. So Jamie, you had talked to me about getting your shirt ordered, and if you will send me the money for it, we will get that ordered and have it for you the next time we all get together. Any questions?
I already sent the money for it.
Do what?
I already sent the money for it.
Oh, did you? Okay, I'll have to look for it and see where it is, and once I confirm that, I'll order your shirt.
Okay.
Okay, Jamie, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good night, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later.